Hey friends, what's going on? It's Luke from Madman Music, and I'm here with Open Mic UK today to tell you 10 things that every recording studio needs. I will preface this by saying that the 10 things I'm going to tell you are absolute essentials, things that you will definitely need to get started. And also, if you're going to a studio, they should all have these 10 things, no questions asked. This is how you can get the best sound to your recording. Number one, a computer. Really obvious one. But yes, you need a computer. Without a computer, you have no means to record. And you can use any computer, whether you have a Windows, a MacBook, whatever it might be. There is some way that you can get recording software onto there. And you'll find that every recording studio probably has a computer. Number two, a DAW, also known as a DAW, which is also a digital audio workstation. This is the means in which the audio is recorded onto the computer. It's all well and good having a computer, but you need a way to capture what you're singing, what you're playing, and that is where a DAW comes in, digital audio workstation. Now, if you have your own setup and you have your own computer, you would look to install one onto yours. Every single studio that I've ever been to has a DAW of some kind, and there's lots of different ones. You've got ones like Logic Pro X, Pro Tools, Ableton, Reason, Studio One. These ones are all paid for, but you've got some free ones as well. A really common one is Audacity, which works on all computers. Number three, an audio interface. And an audio interface is one of these little boxes that you see on the desk here, and it's where you plug your microphone into. Now, that is a very simple home studio setup kind of one. I've got my audio interface down here, and it's where I plug my mics into. I've got my computer, I've got my DAW, but I need to be able to get my audio recorded into the computer, and I can do that using an audio interface. Now, most recording studios will have a slightly more elaborate version of these audio interfaces, but they come in all shapes and sizes from yay big to all the way out here. That is an absolute must, because the other benefit to audio interfaces is that they give you a clean digital signal into your computer. If you're plugging into the microphone input on your computer, you may find that the audio isn't as great a quality. Audio interfaces do a great job converting those sound waves into tangible digital waveform that can then be listened back to. Number four, a microphone. Obviously, we've spoken about the audio interface, but the thing that you need to record into the audio interface is a microphone. Without a microphone, you can't do any recording, you can't capture anything. And you could use computer microphones, you could use microphones on your phone, but to get the best results, especially if you're singing vocals, you want to be using one of two microphones. You can use condensers or dynamics. The most popular one to use is a condenser microphone. This is going to capture all the intricate details of your vocal, more so than a dynamic. However, there are some really great dynamic microphones on the market. It just depends on your budget and what you're looking for. But a great starting point is a condenser microphone, and you'll find that every studio you go to will have a condenser to record with. Number five, headphones. When you're starting out, this can sometimes be forgotten, but you need to be able to hear what you're recording. If you're recording with your speakers turned up, you're going to get a lot of that nasty feedback that's going to ruin a recording. It's going to be that high-pitched squeal. You know, you sometimes hear at live shows, and it has that really big, scratchy effect. You don't want that at all. The way to get over that hurdle is a pair of headphones, and you plug that into your audio interface, which will probably have a headphone output. Put them on, turn it up, and then you can hear your vocals, you can hear your guitar, you can hear what you're saying, and you can monitor it through the headphones rather than out through the speakers. And you will find that every studio will have several sets of headphones to give you so that you can record cleanly. It also prevents the microphone picking up the song that might be playing as well. So again, it keeps the recording much cleaner. Number six, studio monitors. And I don't mean monitors as in computer screen, which is often what monitor means. But in music, when we refer to monitors, we're talking about speakers, okay? Because it's how we monitor the sound that is coming out of our DAW, our DAW. Now, these are just so you can listen to what you're playing out of your computer on proper speakers. You don't need high-end ones. You can get some pretty good budget-friendly ones. But you'll find that most studios will have different tiers of monitoring system. You'll kind of have your mid-range ones, then you'll have your higher priced ones. And the reason for that is because in studios, it's great to listen to records on different speakers, on different monitors. What you'll actually find is that a lot of studios will have some really rubbish sounding speakers just sat on the desk there so that they can reference their mixes and their songs through that. Because if it sounds good through a bad speaker, it's probably going to sound good through almost every other speaker that you play it on. But the general premise of monitors is just to listen to your music out loud in a clear, more suitable scenario, so you get a better idea and a better picture of what's going on in your song. Number 7, cables. Now, there are all sorts of cables. You've got things like XLRs, jack leads, jack extenders. The most common one that you will need to record your microphone into your audio interface is an XLR cable. It's this little round cable that has 3 prongs or 3 little holes for an input. That is how audio is transferred from the microphone into the audio interface, which is then converted into a tangible digital waveform that can then be played back through your monitors. Can you see how this is all working now? These are all pretty essential and they work together. It's almost like a conveyor belt. Each single thing has its one job, it then moves on to the next thing. So yes, cables are good. XLRs will be your best friend. If you play guitar or any instruments of that nature, you will probably want to use jack leads as well. And also, if you want to have your monitors play what's coming out of your computer, you will also need speaker cables. These will come in the form of balanced jack cables. Instruments are usually unbalanced jack cables. Number 8, microphone stands. Obviously, you can't just hold your microphone. I mean, you can hold your microphone, and actually that is how Billie Eilish records her vocals. She holds her microphone and she moves it away, but she's very well trained at being able to not make much noise. Because the problem with holding your microphone is condenser microphones are so much more sensitive. Any kind of movement or rummaging around like this, it will probably pick it up. So you just want to be extra careful. The best and easiest way to combat this and make sure that you've got a sturdy place to record your microphone is having a microphone stand. You can put it on there and then you're completely hands-free. You can use your hands to hold your lyrics, whatever you need, your phone so you can read off the notes there. It eases up and streamlines your workflow whilst recording. And you will find that every studio will most likely set up a microphone stand for you. I doubt any studio in the world that will allow you to just hold your microphone like this, especially if the microphones are expensive. They probably won't let you do that. Number 9, 2 more, a pop filter. Now, a pop filter is something like this here, this little mesh wiring that goes in front of the microphone, and it can be like this metal mesh wire, or it can be something like a fabric. The reason we have pop filters is because pop filters prevent plosives, and plosives are that sound when you make a P or a B sound. What's happening is in your mouth, there's a lot of energy building up around that letter, the B and the P, and that energy is then released when you say that word or that letter. And when that energy is released, there's a lot of air that comes out at the same time. If you're recording into a condenser microphone, which, as we mentioned before, picks up a lot of intricate details, you're going to get this really boomy, poppy sound in the microphone, and it's not very pleasant to listen to and can ruin a nice recording. So it's a good idea to use a pop filter to prevent those plosives from reaching the microphone and ruining your recording. They're usually inexpensive, and they will be found at every studio you go to. Okay, number 10, the final thing, shock mounts. Now, these are essential and not essential. You don't necessarily have to have shock mounts, but it's a great idea. Shock mounts are cradles for your microphone. A microphone can be attached to a stand as normal, but what you have to remember is sounds and vibrations travel through everything. If you've got a microphone sat on a mic stand and it's directly touching the mic stand, if you stamp your feet, that's going to shake the floor a little bit. That's going to shake up through the mic, and it's actually going to shake the microphone. So you're going to get like this rumbling sound. It's a really strange sound. And a way that we can combat that is to actually eliminate the microphone from touching the stand. So we actually have it so the microphone does not touch the stand at all. And the way that we do that is by using a shock mount. And it usually looks something like this. I've got one here. You see these elastic fabric cables here? Well, what's happening is the microphone is actually sat on these cables here so it can move around. And what these cables are doing are supporting the microphone so the microphone is floating in the air here. It's completely dispersing any energy that might come into contact with the microphone When it gets to these cables here, there's nowhere for the sound to travel or go through, so it disperses and never reaches the microphone. That way, giving you a much cleaner recording, a much cleaner take to work with. A lot of singers, when they're performing, and you may find this as well if you're a singer, is they move around. And when you move around, that's going to be noise on the floor. You're going to be stamping your feet. And if you're not careful, that could ruin your recording. So you'll find that most studios have these shock mounts to prevent that. Hopefully you got some useful information out of this, and do make sure to check back for more videos, and hopefully I'll see you there. See you soon.